Coffee and Tools, episode 27, the wooden wheels. Take one. In the last couple of weeks I took a look at the internet for wooden toy projects and things for Christmas time to make for little ones. And I really couldn't find much, so I went ahead and just made myself a little truck for one of the little guys. And this is just 2x4 scrap that was laying around, sort of glued it together and cut it up, give it the basic shape, even knocked out a couple holes for the headlights and stuff. But what I found out really quickly was I was looking at Steve Ramsey over at the channel Mere Mortals, does some awesome wood projects, and for some reason he went out to the store and bought wooden wheels for the little truck he was making. And that was okay, but I got thinking about it a little bit and thought, I'm a woodworker like everybody else. I sort of enjoy the hobby, so that, why not make our own wooden wheels? It can't be that hard, can it? So I looked at the different ways that we can make wooden wheels in our projects, and I have made like wooden pulleys and other things before in the past, so I thought the same technique should apply, which it did. You can make wooden wheels. It's easy. Let's find out how. Okay, hi, and glad you could stop by. We're going to do wooden wheels today. The way I did these particular wheels for this little toy truck was using this little technique here. And this is a hole saw set. This is an old hole saw set from Milwaukee. But what I do is I use the plug. And when you cut with one of these hole saws like this, you end up with this wooden plug that ends up looking like, well, I actually should have done that. It looks, okay, it really looks like that. It's a little rough, but it's nice and round. You have a 5/16 hole for this set. It's a 5/16 hole already punched in, and you have a nice round wheel to start with. So you don't need a fancy wooden lathe or some kind of, be like one of those really awesome guys that uses a bandsaw and, I can just cut a nice round circle. This is about the easiest way to knock out and make a small wooden wheel. But I've got these sets up over 5 inches in diameter, which means I can make some pretty serious wooden pulleys or other things that are round. So a wooden wheel from a set like that is really easy. Now, let's go over to the drill and let's cut out a plug, and we'll see what we've got right here. So here I've got this is actually just a rough cut board on one side, and it's actually cedar, which I normally wouldn't recommend, but we'll go ahead and cut a plug out. So we'll start up the drill and with a flat piece of board. Now, one thing you want to think about is the thickness of your board, because that is going to determine a little bit about how fast a wheel you're going to get out of this guy. So we're going to cut down through. And you notice I sort of cut that off real quick. And the reason is when you look at the board, you see it's just sort of half pushed it out of there. And this is not the best material for, say, even a wooden wheel for a child's toy, but it's just a good way to show you what you can do. And it got a lot of mess at the back. Now we can sand and grind all that down and actually sand these edges. So let's go back to the work table and take a look at the next step. Okay, so let's get a little closer up here. Okay, so we've got our wheel, and this is a plug from that, like I say, just a regular hole saw. And the first thing you're going to notice right away is that it's a 5/16 hole now, already in the wood now. So with a piece of 5/16 doweling, I can actually use this as an axle for like a project for a car. So I can just push that on there right away. And what that allows me to do is now I can get safely away from like a sanding machine or a grinder or something, and I can go in and take it off and touch it up. And when I finish touching it up, that was pretty quick, huh? Yeah, it looks like that. And there's a really good soft wheel. Now, there's one issue that I did notice, that if you want to get fancy and you want to go a little more technical with these, you might want to either put a bearing, or, well, not a bearing, but a flat wash or something like back here for a bearing, so that it doesn't get into the toy and create like a break or friction issue. They don't seem to really have that problem anyways, because the little ones get a hold of these, and you know yourself, they just kind of roll them back and forth, and you know, it's really over the top a little bit. But when you're cutting these, if you cut them down, and you know where the inside of your wheel is going to be, and you cut that down a little bit and take a lot of that meat out of there, that will reduce any friction. So it'll actually improve the situation. But this week at Coffee and Tools, we got to drink coffee for the tools. Love coffee with my tools. This week from Coffee and Tools, how to make a wooden wheel. There you go.